Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. I am Mondo here today with only Holmes. Mr. Gary Gowdy, GG3, is out sick today. He has a migraine. We called him when it was time to start recording, and 30 minutes after it was time to start, he finally woke up and said he was too sick. So I tucked him back into bed. He will not be with us today. But you got the two all-stars today. We're going to talk football. You know we're going to give you the picks for this weekend. We also have NBA and chill plays tonight. We'll keep it short, sweet, simple. Holmes, how we doing today? How you feeling? What's up?
Doing great right now, brother. We got to give out some picks today. We got a great divisional weekend coming up of football. We got some good NBA games to go over tonight. We got some good NHL games we're going to cover tonight. I mean, we just got it all. So I'm excited to jump into it. I am amped up.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in. I know we gave our overall picks for the divisional games, but we figure we might as well just go through, give kind of like the in-depth picks, what we're thinking, how we're feeling on each game. That way you guys kind of know how we're going to play this weekend.
Yep.
Remember, picks do change, so stay on top of it at Unbettable on Twitter. That is where all the official picks will be. That being said, Holmes, I want you to kick it off. Texans, Ravens, what are you thinking? What are your plays? What are the thoughts in your head right now?
All right. So the first thing that I kind of want to tackle, I like the first half spread in this game because we talked about on the last episode how the Ravens and the 49ers, they're both coming off of weeks of non-important football. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, their starters pretty much sat out the whole last week. They get the first round bye. Now they're coming in pretty much fully rested, but you know that can work well against the team. I mean, it
Yep.
definitely can. However, in this game, I don't think it'll affect the Ravens as much as it will affect um, the 49ers, and we'll cover that a little bit later in that game. But what I'm actually going to take here, I'm going to go with Texans plus 6.5 first half. You can get that at minus 110 on on Hard Rock. And if you want to even play it up to 3.5, you can get that for plus 125 if you feel really confident that the Texans are going to be keeping it close at the half. I think the Ravens, they're going to come out a little bit sluggish. I want to take the Texans to keep rolling, playing good football like they've been doing, to come out and at least keep it really, really close here in the first half because as much as I'm not going to touch the spread, I do think the Ravens are going to win this game. I took them in the bracket challenge. I just think it is going to be a really good second half for them once they figure out what they were struggling with, what they need to work on, and get back into the flow of the game, likely into the second half. That's my opinion of the game. And I will say one more thing that I wanted to take a look at. I'm not going to place anything now on it because there's nothing out yet, and I kind of want to wait on this. But Isaiah Likely, the guy has been balling out for the Ravens. I know Mark Andrews is expected back this week, but I don't think a reasonable person can look at how well Isaiah Likely has been playing for the Ravens and think that as soon as Mark Andrews comes back, he's just going to get 0 snaps and be the number 2 guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're now going to have to find ways to get both Andrews and Likely on the field at the same time because we've seen how damn talented that guy is, especially after the catch. He's crazy. So I'm going to wait for those props to come out for that. But as far as the game goes, I am going to stick with Texans plus 6.5 in the first half.
Yeah, so the overall spread, Baltimore obviously favored by 9, over under set at 43.5. There wasn't an exact way I'm leaning. I do like that first half spread. I'm kind of with you there. I've always been a believer that, coming off like essentially the double buy is always a recipe for disaster, no matter which way you spin it. With that being said, I do see this being a battle. So I would probably take Texans plus 9 overall in the game. I also am feeling good about the Dalton Schultz touchdown. I feel like the Ravens linebackers, however they're good, they're not as good man to man. So seeing Dalton Schultz get open and a little RPO action, I do feel like that could be a recipe for success, especially if they're within 10 yards. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. As more player props become available, I'll definitely have a bigger list. But
Yeah.
this game I'd say is probably the hardest of the three to kind of gauge where you want to go with it in terms of
Hardest of the four.
times, player props, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited. I think we have four great matchups. This is definitely one of them. So let's head to the next game. So 8:15 Saturday, we know little NFC matchup. Packers, Niners. Niners coming off essentially that double bye. Favored by 9.5, over under set at 50.5. Holmes, we'll start with you. What are you thinking this game?
All right. Well, right off the bat, I think I mentioned this on Tuesday, but I am going to be riding Packers plus 9.5 in this game.
Yep.
I did pick them in the bracket challenge to have a major upset here. I I might sprinkle a little bit on the money line just to back up my claim there and really root for them, but I do think they can definitely cover the 9.5 against the 49ers. I think this is a situation where the 49ers are going to come out looking a lot slower and I think a little more disjointed than the Ravens
Mm-hmm.
for the reason that just Brock Purdy is just a little bit younger than Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson has a little bit of the maturity factor on him, and I get it.
Yep.
He hasn't even won as many playoff games as Brock Purdy. I get that. But Lamar Jackson knows that he and the guys around him need to be ready to make a run because they can't let what's happened to them in the past in the playoffs come back and haunt them this year. I don't think the 49ers are as concerned about that because of the success they had last year and just the freak injury that Brock Purdy had in the championship game. So
Yep.
I think this is an opportunity for the Packers to be able to jump on them, just like they jumped on the Cowboys. I'm going to take them plus 9.5 in the game. I'm going to look to see what their half spread is as well. I mean, you could take Packers plus 7.5 or plus 6.5 as well at first half for minus 110. So the same as the Texans. And as far as player props go in this game, I know that the 49ers defense has been playing well. I know how strong they are up front. I know how strong they are in the secondary. I mean, they're a formidable group, but I really want to bet on Jordan Love's passing yards, man, because this guy has just been balling the hell out. And it's set at 251.5 right now. I think that is 100% doable for him, especially if the 49ers are able to get a lead in this game, which I certainly think they will. He's going to have to be playing from behind, slinging the ball. We saw it last week, man. He was dialing it up in the pass game, finding guys all over the field, crazy good throws. I am talking myself into it, so I'm going to do it right now. Jordan Love over 251.5 passing yards for minus 115.
Love it. Like I said earlier in this week, we all kind of mutually agreed that Packers plus 9.5 is just too good to pass up. They are so hot right now that it's like impossible to overlook them. That being said, I will be taking the McCaffrey anytime. If you know me, you know I've been doing it all year long. So it'd be kind of disrespectful to stop it at playoff time. With
True.
that said, I will also take the combination that I typically do under 3.5 total interceptions between Purdy and Jordan Love. We know Brock Purdy has a little bit of turnover trouble from time to time. He's facing a weaker Packers defense. The only thing he has to watch out for is Jair Alexander. And on the other side, Jordan Love is, I think, over the last 10 games, he's got a 22-1 TD interception ratio, something crazy like that.
That's
So
nice.
it's a kind of no brainer. Hammer the under there on the turnovers, more specifically the interceptions. And yeah, I would say those are my big three plays for this game, but I'll definitely have a couple other things listed out later. Holmes, let's get into Sunday. I mean, there's no other way to start it. Let's go Bucks Lions. Just go in. Let's hear it. What you got?
All right. Well, as you know, as we talked about in the bracket challenge, I picked the Lions because I do have a future on the Lions to win the
Mm,
Super Bowl. It's kind of like my dark horse pick, but I believe in them. I believe in Dan Campbell. I've been talking about it all season. I just like their squad, and they've been inconsistent at times, and that worries me. But in this game, right now, I'm kind of going to take the hedge strategy, and I am going to take not only Bucks plus 6.5 for minus 110. I am also going to take a little bit on the Bucks money line as well because it's plus 225, and I think it's too good to pass up. Uh, I mean, especially as just a guy who's going to be rooting so hard for the Bucks after an amazing performance last week against the Eagles. Um, I think Baker Mayfield is just absolutely on a tear right now.
mm-hmm.
That guy is figuring it out in the passing game. He started that last week. That's what they needed on the offensive side of the ball to get things cooking. Touchdowns. I mean, before that game, I don't think we had scored a touchdown in like 7 quarters. It was ridiculous. We couldn't find the end zone. And
Mhm.
finally, Baker's been able to get it cooking. And I like the direction this offense is moving now. We're in the playoffs, getting hot. And I mean, you've heard me talk about the defense. They are going in. I mean, the pressure rate is insane. I definitely think they're going to be bringing the pressure to Jared Goff, but I think they're going to have to be smart about the way they play in the secondary as well, because Jared Goff's going to be able to find Amon-Ra. If Sam Laporta plays, he's going to be able to find Sam. He's going to find Jameer out of the backfield. I mean, he has options to be able to get at his disposal. Not really the options that the Eagles had with AJ Brown out. So I am going to be taking the Bucks in this game and riding the Bucks heavy. But as far as a prop perspective is concerned, I'm probably going to be looking at alternative lines for both of these QBs in terms of passing. Jared Goff 250 plus is minus 325 right now, and 250 plus for Baker Mayfield is minus 155. I see this game as a shootout more than anything, so I kind of lean toward the over in this game, but I will be likely trying to target the passing yards for both of these quarterbacks, given the kind of poop secondaries that both teams have.
Yeah, I was looking into it earlier this week. On the road, the Bucks have the 28th ranked defense in the NFL. At home, the Lions have, I believe, a top 6 offense. So it's kind of a mismatch there. With that being said, I will probably parlay the over on both QBs' yardage. I think it's a no-brainer here. There's nobody in either secondary that stands out as someone who could prevent it. I do like a David Montgomery or Sam Laporta touchdown. Depends which way I go. I don't see Amon-Ra doing it simply because he's the guy that eats up the yardage down the field in the playoffs. It's what we've seen in the last 3 to 4 weeks. He's not big touchdown guy. So I see you if it is, in 20 yards, Laporta, within 5, you're going to hammer the David Montgomery. I also love the over in this game. Like you, I also think it's going to be a shootout. No defense will be played here. I hate that spread. 6.5 is a tough one, especially with Detroit just barely kind of sneaking it out last week. So I'm going to stay away from that, but I'm going to hammer the over and just about every other thing. So that's where we sit with that game. Obviously, the biggest game of the slate, without a doubt. I mean, it's the rematch upon the rematch upon the rematch. We've seen the rivalry every year. Chiefs, Bills, 6:30 on CBS. Spread Buffalo favored by 3. Total over under 45.5. Ladies and gentlemen, I am hammering that over. Absolutely hammering the fuck out of it. We see these guys put up numbers every time they face each other, and it is not going to be any different. On top of that, I love Stephon Diggs to go off in this game. He is so due for it. On the other side, though, Chiefs +3. Chiefs are going to take this one for sure, just because fuck the Bills. We all know that's kind of my rationale heading into this weekend. It hasn't really paid off much, but we're going to ride it anyway. Holmes, take it away.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on the over. I just think, given the history of this game and how much we see these quarterbacks duel against each other, and given the fact that Buffalo's defense has literally been decimated by injuries this season, I think you got to take the over 45.5 here. Sorry, I was losing my train of thought. I also am going to be taking the Bills spread minus 2.5 for minus 115. I think it's worth it here because I do think it is that close of a game. I think they win by a field goal, but I think this is the year that the Bills get it done. They're at home. They're going to get one over the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. And this is the year they can get that monkey off their back. They can finally feel good about getting over a big playoff hump and getting to the championship game. I am also going to take Josh Allen to throw an interception because
Lock it in.
it is at minus 105 right now. I think that is great value for a Josh Allen interception, given how consistent he is at throwing them. And also, he did not throw in last week against the Steelers. I am not the type of guy that thinks he is going to go 2 weeks in a row without throwing a pick. So I am going to take Josh Allen to throw a pick for minus 105. I think you get great value there.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, these are 4 fantastic games this weekend. Usually there's always one playoff game that's not worth watching. All 4 of these are about to be bangers, whether it's teams on hot streaks, number 1 seeds being able to play, superstar matchups, you name it. we have it this weekend. So I would recommend getting a comfy seat on your couch, turning on the TV, and not moving for at
Yes,
least 6 to 7 hours a day.
confirmed.
So enjoy it. It will be worth it. You will enjoy every single aspect of the games. And with that being said, Holmes, we got some games to talk about tonight. Give me your NBA and NHL picks right away.
Yes, we will. All right, let's get into it. First of all, these are going to be out on the Twitter tonight. So, I'm sure everybody that's watching this will be watching this next day. Um, all these picks are going to be on the Twitter. So, whenever you're looking for NBA or NHL picks on the daily, we're going to be dropping them on the Twitter. Gary's going to hook it up there. Now, let's get into it. We'll start with the ice first. We'll go to the NHL. I am going to be taking the Bruins on the money line tonight against the Avs. I think this is a game where the Avs are just going to be mad tired. They're playing their third game in 4 days. They're on the road. I really, really love the Bruins goaltending. They are the best team in the Eastern Conference right now. So I'm going to take the Bruins for minus 150, I think. So a little bit juicy, but I like it better than just taking the puck line straight up because the Avalanche are still a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take the Flames for plus 125 against the Maple Leafs on the money line. The Maple Leafs have been awful as of lately. They just lost to the Oilers on the road, I think, a couple nights ago. That was a night, actually, I liked the Oilers on the pod, and we talked about that at the very, very end. I didn't make it an official play, but I did lean that way. So I am going to take the Flames because they're on a winning streak. Maple Leafs are on a losing streak. I think the wrong team is favored here. I don't really understand why the Leafs would be favored at minus 135 on the road here against the Flames. It might be a trap. It really, really could be, and I could be falling right into it, but I'm going to go with the team that's hotter right now in the Flames. I think the plus money value, you just can't pass it up there.
Yeah.
You want to hit the NBA or you want me to just go straight into NBA?
Go straight through it and I'll take over after.
All right, bet. Let's ride through it then. All right, so first play is actually a boost on Hard Rock. It was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and De'Aaron Fox to both score 30 points tonight. I like this bet. I think it was nice, the boost up to plus 230 for this play. I think actually now they boosted it even more. I mean, I think if you want to play it now, it's at like plus 300, which is insane. I missed out on that great value there. But I mean, in a game where De'Aaron Fox for the Kings is playing the Pacers, who have literally no defense other than Pascal Siakam, I think he's going to put up a ton of points. And then SGA, who they playing tonight? The Jazz. I know the Jazz are coming off of an off night the other night after the postponed game against the Warriors. But I don't really love the Jazz's defense either. They've been playing well because their offense is doing really, really well for them. And I like SGA to just keep it up tonight. Both of them over 30 points. I'm going to take the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies to go under 214 tonight. Grizzlies have literally none of their top scorers playing tonight. It is going to be all just reserves and like second stringers for the Grizzlies. I think the Timberwolves are going to give them a nice beating, and it could be over pretty quick. So I'm going to take the under in this game. I have a little bit of a parlay. De'Aaron Fox and Anthony Edwards both to get over 1.5 steals plus blocks. I know that was a lot to say right there, but both of these players average 2 steals plus blocks a game. I mean, De'Aaron Fox by himself sometimes just gets 2 steals a game. So I really like this play. Both of these lines, I think, were at like minus 190, minus 195. Put them together, you get plus 129. So good plus money value on the parlay there. And then the last prop I'm going to go with is Emmanuel Quickly for the Raptors over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This guy's just been getting a ton of play for the Raptors since he got traded there. And he's been playing very well, especially now that Pascal Siakam is out of the picture. They're playing the Bulls tonight. Not a good team at all. Raptors are at home. I like Emmanuel Quickly to have a very nice night in all aspects tonight. So that's what I'm rolling with, Mondo. What do you got for me tonight? I know you got a bunch of NBA plays you want to get into.
As you know, I have bangers after bangers after bangers of player props. It's what I do. I don't do shit with NHL because, frankly, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to hockey. But that's all right. I got NBA. Anthony Edwards, like Holmes was just saying, the Grizzlies are ass, right? The Grizzlies are ass. They don't have anyone to start. So Anthony Edwards, he's probably going to dish the ball a little bit tonight. Over 4.5 assists. Mr. Hartenstein over in New York. Guess what? Big body. Big body. over 12 and a half rebounds. Julius Randle, he's going to dish the ball around tonight. It's what he does. They got an easy matchup against the Wizards. Guess what? Over 4.5 assists.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickly, the man, the myth, the legend, over 5.5 assists. As you can tell, I am feeling good about dishing the ball tonight. RJ
Yeah.
Barrett, that dude gets traded, starts balling. Over 20.5 points tonight, guaranteed. And then we got Jalen Williams, over 23.5 points plus rebounds. And finally, one that I forgot to write on my list, but I am doing tonight, Harrison Barnes, over 13.5 points, assists, and rebounds. A no-brainer there, folks. A no fucking brainer. That is where I'm going with NBA tonight. Stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of green in your accounts.
That would be very nice. I love a lot of those picks tonight. As you just heard, I am on the Emmanuel Quickly as well. I love the assist play. I love the Anthony Edwards play. I love the Isaiah Hartenstein play. There's no Daniel Gafford playing for the Wizards tonight. I think that rebounds prop is great. And Harrison Barnes, man, you're kind of underrated player for the Kings. Like he's gonna get boards, he's gonna get some points down low in the paint. He's gonna get some work done. So I think 13.5 is a little low there. I love your plays there, Garrett. Good shit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said Garrett, bro. Mondo, my bad.
that's all right. That's all right. I'll let it slide today. I'll let it slide.
All right, fair.
Holmes, I got something to bring up. I
Let's do
dropped
it.
it in the chat earlier. Kind of wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, we like throwing random things into the betting podcast here and there. Let's talk about the best fast food burger odds, shall we?
I like it.
Starting off at plus 10,000. We got the shitter squares, the White Castle burgers. A great hammered
Yeah,
food, but
great hammer
other
too.
than that, eh.
Yeah,
2,500 Burger King. Following that up, 2,000 McDonald's. Plus 1,100 for Sonic, ahead of McDonald's. Plus
okay,
900 for Wendy's. Plus 800 for Whataburger. 600 for Culver's. You said that was amazing value. I
definitely.
don't think there's a better value on this board. Plus 400 for the king of the burgers, Five Guys.
Yeah, that's
The
crazy.
king at plus 400. Plus 250 Shake Shack. We know in the clubhouse that should really be the favorite. That should be
Yeah,
your minus 125. This guy must have been from Cali because he put In and Out at minus 150. I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
yeah,
Shake Shack's definitely better than In and Out, but if you're taking a list here, it's got to be Five Guys, right?
yeah. Honestly, like you're talking me into the Five Guys. I think the one reason I wasn't so drawn to that is because I just hate the price of Five Guys, man. I hate how expensive it is. Like you know how annoying that is. And like I guess you could say the same thing for Shake Shack, but if we're talking about like quality, yeah, man, that shit's fresh. Like comes out with fire toppings. You get loads of fries with it. I mean, that's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
That is hard to beat. That's why it would be my pick at plus 400. I mean, that I just feel like that's a no brainer. Culver's is incredible. Don't get me wrong. Great burgers, but I get distracted by everything else at Culver's, like the
Yeah,
concretes, the cheese curds, all the other shit. Here, Five Guys, it's all about the burger with the
fair.
dump of fries. Like that's
Hell
it.
yeah.
That's all you go for. Um, but yeah, I figured maybe we make Gary kind of create his own list and we dissect it every episode. Some shit like that would be hilarious to watch.
That would be pretty smart. I would like to integrate that into future episodes. I think, yeah, one more thing too. Like you said, this guy has to be from California because minus 150 for In and Out. Like, I'm gonna tell you from firsthand experience. I've had the In and Out burger. It's good, bro. But you can get burgers that are just as good for cheaper, and you don't have to fly all the way to California to get them. So again, plus 600 Culver's, man, that's some fire fast food. I'm telling you what. And low key, plus 1100 Sonic. Yo, I had Sonic the other day. Listen, I used to think Sonic was trash, but I don't know what it was about that burger they had the other day. I was like, damn, that shit kind of slapped.
I
So
think when you mix it with the slushy, that's like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
dude.
you take the
Yeah.
bite, and then you take the slushy, and it's like a
And you
fresh burger every
and you
bite.
got yeah, dude, and you got tots with it. Like, I
Oh,
mean, that's just Sonic is OG, man, and they fell off a little bit and like in between for a couple years. I did not like what they were putting out, but I think they're on the right track again, and I love it.
Yeah. You know what's not on here? Nick Lipinski. There's no Arby's on this list. Do you know why?
It's
They
trash.
don't have the fucking meats. They're dog
Trash.
shit.
It's
White
trash.
Castle made it on.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, plus 10,000 White Castle. I mean, if you're drunk and that's like your only option, you're gonna get it. But other
Yeah.
than that, there's not really much you can do with that. Like in Nashville, they have a great little spot, maybe 15 minutes walking distance from Broadway. It's awesome when you're hammered. But
Mm-hmm.
again, when you're hammered, man, you eat that stuff sober, you are a crazy individual.
Yeah, that's you're out of your fucking mind. Let's be real here.
You're off your goop for sure.
You are off your rocker if you do that. Um, but yeah, that's all we have for you guys today. Quick little one. Obviously, there's less games to go through. So we try to add a little bit of extra stuff. But if you have segment ideas, please leave them below. We're trying to figure out what could be fun in terms of like a betting segment that we could bring in. We're still trying to play around with stuff. So if you do have any ideas, comments, Twitter, DMs, you name it, we'll look at it. Like we want to grow. So
Absolutely.
Holmes, anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, just before we sign off, just everybody out there, continue to follow us on social media. I know football season is coming to an end, so we're just going to have a lot of daily sports that we're going to be betting on.
Mm,
NBA, NHL, baseball is coming in the form of major league and college real quick. So we're going to be all over that type of stuff. I'm going to be trying to drop daily videos on the social media with Gare, giving out picks. So please follow us on those platforms. You don't want to miss out on that stuff.
yep. And if you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. We will see you guys on the next episode to recap this weekend. Peace.
You